Alright, welcome back guys. Once your first time here, I'm Vision Hero Bonner, tampering you guys in our video. Today I'm going to give you guys my review for Power Rangers Dino Fury, the 3-part season finale. Now if Power Rangers is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, there's more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. Now let's begin. Alright, so welcome back Ranger Nation. So like I said, this will be my review for the Dino Fury's 3-part season finale. Now first off, I do want to warn this will contain spoilers, so if for some reason you haven't watched the finale or part 2 of season 2 of Dino Fury, don't watch this if you don't want to get spoiled, so definitely check out one of my other videos. But I also want to mention quick here that I know a lot of other YouTubers who cover PR have given their reviews and done their videos about the finale already, but I didn't want to give it right off the bat. I want to watch the finale a few times, gather my thoughts and opinions, and then do my video, give my review for the season finale. So that's why this video is kind of late. But, we start off the finale with episode 20, the invasion. Now, there were some events in episode 19, Bad Vibes, that could make it and consider it to be a 4-part finale. But to me, I'm going to consider the truth to be the first part of the 3-part finale. So you pick up here just moments after Void King breaks into the base and steals the Sporex, which happened in the last 2 minutes of episode 19. You got the Rangers to return to the base, help so on, and, they're gathering, their bearings, and you got Jane who contacts Amelia saying that there's a spaceship in the area, and you got so on who indicates that it's right above them at their base, so the Rangers go out to investigate, and I do like some of the nods and, kind of connections that they've done, because you got Ion and, Zayto who, are excited to see him, but Zayto does a callback to season 1 with Cypher, had, lied to them. So I really like how they pulled that off and did that little tease there about how, we've fallen for this trick before. And then I also like how Javi gave a little nod towards Zed when he said it could be Lord Zed returning. I really like that little nod to Zed as well, also foreshadowing his return in next season. So I really like that. But it is revealed that these are actually RAFCON people, and they go down into the base to, catch up and whatnot once they realize that these are real people. Now, there are a lot of good things here that I like that they did in this episode. They're small little things, but they answer a lot of things that people have issues with and plot holes with. Because you have Zeta who mentions that, hey, I've called out to you multiple times, you've never answered, why'd you show up now? So I really like this, because you got Oria, who's the leader here, says, we've heard the legends of the Knights of RAFCON, but it's been 65 million years. What are the likelihood that you would actually survive? We thought it was like a ruse or a trick, so that's why we never called back. A nice, simple explanation as to why they never returned. I like that. Doesn't cause any issues there. And then they go on to say they return now due to the destruction of RAFCON. Okay, I think that works as a good explanation. No worrisome there. But then you got Oria who says that she wants to talk, and they go into the other room, and her people want to colonize Earth due to the destruction of RAFCON, and she believes that humans are bad and don't care about their planet. Now, this is probably the biggest issue I have, and I think a lot of fans have this issue with the finale, is that I feel like this comes out of left field, and it comes due to the fact that they've only been there for 5 minutes, and they go down this route. And honestly, I think this would have worked out a little bit better if they had introduced the RAFCONians an episode earlier and shown them thinking that humans were bad, seeing acts by the humans that would justify them wanting to, colonize Earth. I think that would have worked a lot better. So I don't know. I want to take off points there, but I don't want to. It's kind of mixed. I'll kind of make that assumption once I finish my review. But I did not really like that. It kind of was like, I feel like they could have gotten rid of a previous episode and introduced the RAFCONians an episode earlier. I'd probably go with the one where, Ollie wasn't helping his mom or whatever. I'd get rid of that one. I feel like that one kind of had Ollie backsliding on his character progression. So I'd probably get rid of that one and then push every other episode up a bit and give the RAFCONians return to or arrival on Earth an episode earlier. That way it can kind of flesh out that story. So I didn't really like that. Plus, and I'm gonna continue this on with episode 20 as well. Is you got this whole thing with Zayto talking about how sharing is the Rafcon way. That first off, the dialogue came off as very cringy, and along with the whole idea, it comes off as a bit cringy. So I didn't really like that. But you got the group trying to, they're gonna, have the Rafconians leave. They're gonna go out and colonize Earth. Another argument people have made is that, there were only a few people with Oria there when they arrived and said they were going to conquer Earth. So, like, how are they going to conquer Earth with just a few people? But as I'm about to get to in a minute, there is revealed that there are multiple other people than just the ones we see here. Because you got to reveal that, Void Queen is enacting her final plan. You got Sporks attacking throughout the city. And you got the groups kind of teaming up in an unsteady alliance to take on the Sporks Beast. And at this moment, you got Oria, who mentioned she has, sent out squads of her men. So by saying that, we know there's a lot more than just the people that are with Oria. When I think of squads, I think of multiple, like, units of people, say, like, 5 or 6. And that could contain anywhere between, like, 60 or something people. I think that, like, there are more people, of course, there on the ship that are, there. So I know people have argued that that's a bit of a plot hole, like how they only going to take the point with just those, like, 15 other people with Oria. But there are, like I said, squads around the city, so it would make sense that they would have numbers in order to somewhat at least take the city. But, you got the group going out and taking down the different Sporks. I really like this because we got nice callbacks to previous Sporks attacks. We got to see a lot of the previous monsters. And I also like this. I feel like this pays an homage to Ninja Storm. Because if you remember, with Ninja Storm, the whole thing was to unleash the Abyss of Evil. And all the previous monsters came back and the Rangers had to fight them in the finale. However, it was very quickly done. However, here it's done, and they have to handle this in multiple parts of this finale, which I really like, instead of it being like a 10-second fight. So I really like that. I also feel like I said, it's paying homage to Ninja Storm. So, you got that going on. You got Javi's father who's trying to, coordinate an evacuation of the city. I also like this little kind of throwaway line here that they say the mayor's out of town, so that's why Warden Garcia is taking over. It makes sense. They need someone to, coordinate. He's the, probably next high level ranking person, so it makes sense that he'd help coordinate. Nice small line to explain why he's coordinating, because I feel like a lot of fans would probably poke holes and say, wait, why is he, organizing the evacuation? So I really like that. But we got some good fight scenes there. You got Wreckmate, who's kind of helping lead the charge against them. Meanwhile, you got Void Queen, who goes out to exact her plan, and her plan is to flood the city using the dam. You got the group kind of spreading off, taking on different Sporex and all that. You got, Amelia, who stays behind with Oria to help take down some Sporex. You got Ivan and Zayto, who take on Wreckmate, and the rest of the Rangers take on one of the previous Sporex in the Megazord. Really cool thing. Nice battles there. Really love the Wreckmate fight there with the other monster. The name of the monsters I can't remember it right now, but I do really like how, like, the Megazord starts to malfunction. I kind of wish that it had to be self-destruct, but at the same time, leading on to what we get in the other episodes, I'm okay with it not being destroyed. So, you got the Rangers who end up taking down that monster. You got Wreckmate who, escapes, and you got the other group kind of regrouping. Meanwhile, you got Amelia who's helping them, and you have Pop in a nearby area who's, he was with a group of people, like, planting trees or whatnot, and he ends up kind of getting involved in the fight. He saves Oria, and he ends up being badly injured by the Sporks, and Amelia is forced to reveal that she's the Pink Ranger, and takes him back to the base to get help from so on. I really like that they revealed Amelia was the Pink Ranger that way. Nice little go there. I really like what they did in part 1. Good stuff. I do think the Rafconians thing about colonizing Earth was a bit kind of out of the blue and not really necessary. Once Oria saw what Pop was doing along with the evacuation plans, she had a sudden change of heart. I don't know, it just felt rushed, and like it didn't really need to be there. Again, I think if they added an episode prior to help flesh out this episode, I think it was good. If I had to give this episode a grade, I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. Really good episode. Just the small things about some of the dialogue regarding like Sharon is the Rafcon way and the Rafconians want to colonize an Earth. Just really kind of was the part where I'm just like, yeah, this kind of takes off points. But you do get a good, nice cliffhanger with Pop saying that Amelia is from a different planet. She's not human, which a lot of fans had been saying this from the beginning. So I really like that. If this wasn't on Netflix, I feel it would have been a great cliffhanger for the show if it was airing on, like, say, Nick. But I'm glad it wasn't on Nick and you could jump right into the next episode. So I thought this was a solid episode. Like I said, 4.5 out of 5. Now, moving into part 2, episode 21, The Truth, we get to see the whole kind of backstory between what happened with Amelia, how she ended up with Pop. We get to see all that kind of stuff. Now, I really like this. I like how they use the whole thing about how Rafconians can see, visions of the past and stuff, which, gives them the ability to find out information. Because I feel like with a revelation like this, you would kind of need a whole episode to explain like the background. However, doing it this way helps because you don't have to, dedicate a whole episode or anything like that. You don't have to use any exposition. It's a fairly easy thing to do, and it made sense within the context of the story. So we get all that information. We get the revelation that she is from Rafcon, which a lot of fans were speculating from. So we got all those big reveals, and then the Rangers show up having finished, battling those Sporks and to check in on Amelia and Pop. Now, they go for the whole thing, making sure everybody's okay and whatnot. And you get a little exposition and kind of information regarding how it takes years of training and certain situations to help Rafconians develop their antennae. Because this is one of the big plot holes I was going to have with this whole revelation of her being from Rafcon. Is if she's been on Earth for all this time, she's in her 20s, How did she not have her antenna show up prior to this? So just this little line saying how it just takes years of practice. Certain people develop them at different times. Simple explanation as to why she never had her antennas before this and why they suddenly popped up now. So I really like that. Nice little things like this. And I feel like with the little time that we have left within the finale, I feel like they've done a good job of using these little lines here to explain certain things. So you got that going on. Meanwhile, I get more information regarding, they got Buzz Blast and Jane's reporting an evacuation plan, telling, everything regarding that. And the Rangers head back out in the city to fight the Sporks. You get like a 5-second clip with them and the Rafcon soldiers fighting them. They go to capture the Sporks. However, they end up flying away. Now, this goes back to, for some reason I forgot and skipped over this, but when Jane was going over her evacuation speech, you have Void Queen and Mucus show up and, chase them away. And you got Void Queen who pretty much announces her big plan and, uses their Sporks to create this type of cocoon thing. And, that's what happened to the Sporks. All the Sporks that are defeated, all their, egg modes are being absorbed into this cocoon, and that's why they all flew away. So the Rangers go up, find that, and Mucus is inadvertently also absorbed into the cocoon. And you got the Rangers who are trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do with this? They try to figure out a plan. They think they can blow it up, but due to the fact of what happened to Mucus, they realize that it's, too dangerous since Mucus is indestructible and she was easily taken out by this, even though there's kind of more reasons as to what happened there. But, they decide to call in Dr. Kana and bring her in to try to figure things out. Now, I feel like fans are going to have a little bit of an issue here as to how Dr. Kana got to Earth, got to the city so quick after she was in Japan. My little headcanon and throwaway line is here they just used their teleportation and teleported her back to the city. I feel like that's just a simple explanation. We saw that they can use that with the Rafconians in the previous episode, so I feel like that's just a simple explanation as, yeah, they just used teleportation to bring her here to the city. Is it a plot hole, sort of? Yeah, but, But, so we got more information about the cocoon. They realize that, it's absorbing all this energy and it's pretty much about gonna explode at some point. So they need to figure out a way to destroy it and evacuate the city because pretty much once the cocoon explodes, it's pretty much gonna be like a nuke and the entire city's gonna be destroyed and they gotta evacuate like a whole 30-mile radius. So you got Izzy and Ion who call Warden Garcia and Oria to, tell him about the new updated evacuation plans. Now, one thing I gotta say here is I feel like this would have been an easy thing to do regarding the evacuation because they're like, oh, we don't have time. But why not use the Ravkonian ship, load a bunch of people up, fly 30 miles out, drop them off, and keep doing that until the city's evacuated. Granted, I have zero clue how much room they have on their ship, how long that would take, would the humans trust them? So, in a way, I understand why they did it this way, but it feels like that would have been a 10 times better and easier way to evacuate. That's just me, though. And I know people could say, yeah, that's kind of a plot hole. But I understand why they didn't, because, these are aliens. Humans aren't probably going to trust them after years of aliens attacking Earth and everything. Although, you do have Jane who says that the Rangers and their alien allies are helping, so that might have helped. But at the same time, I'm okay with this and makes sense in context. But you got the Rangers who decide to go back out. They gotta, face off against Wreckmate who's back. And, Pop inadvertently kind of creates a fake saying that he's going bad again, fakes that, and gives information to Amelia about going to Area 62 to gather some information and answers regarding her parents. Great move there. So you got the group who splits up pretty much. Amelia goes to Area 62 and the Rangers go to face off against Wreckmate. You got a nice battle there. Wreckmate's, taken out. I do wish the Battle of Wreckmate was a tad bit longer, but with what we got and everything else going on, I think it was pretty well done. And, with what we got, it was decent. It could have been a few, maybe minute or two longer, but with all the other stuff we had to handle within this episode, it makes sense as to why it was so short. But you got Amelia who goes into Area 62, unaware, of course, that it's the villain's base. She of course, is wearing the radiation get up because Pop said it's radioactive. She goes there, realizes it's not that bad, and while she's there, she runs into Slifer. Now, I really love this interaction before it's revealed that it's Slifer, because you got him coming in disguised as Warden Garcia. Nice little callback or throwback or paying homage to the premiere episode where Amelia got in trouble for trespassing in a Dino hedge by Warden Garcia. Now you got Slifer, doing the same thing regarding Area 62. Nice, small little subtle callback. Really enjoyed that. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm a little not giving fans credit, but I feel like that's something people might miss. But I like that. But you got the two of them who engage in a fight. Slifer destroys her Morphers so she can't call for backup. And the two engage in a nice fight. Now, this one, I think they did a good length amount of fight scenes with Slifer and an unmorphed Amelia. Great, decent fight scene until the Rangers show up. Solon informs them that that Amelia's Morphers destroyed, and Pop tells them where she went. So they end up going there, saving her. They end up, helping defeat Slifer. You got Zayto who uses Dino Knight armor to try to take him down. However, he ends up retreating. And so we got pretty much him in the wind. You got Wreckmate destroyed, and the Rangers decide, okay, we're here. Maybe we can find something to destroy the, take out the cocoon and destroy it or whatnot. However, forgetting that it's their base day, I like how they set this up. I didn't even realize it at first. But as they're leaving that area, you got Void King who notices them. So meanwhile, you got the group who's upstairs trying to, find things to, destroy their cocoon. Amelia was informed by Pop that there's a safe in Area 62 that contained information. She finds it, but unfortunately it's empty. Now, we got our second big callback here, where as they're, she's coming to terms with that the safe is empty, that, she can't find any more information. Suddenly she is, the net is shot out of her by her, I think it's her spook sneer. I forget at the moment. and she is of course electrocuted and demorphed, and it's revealed that it was used by Void King. Nice subtle small callback, because if you remember in the premiere, season 1 premiere, you had Amelia use that on Void Knight. Now you got it at the finale using it on her. Nice small subtle callback that I really like. I really love what they did here of the callbacks of Amelia in this episode. Nice, and they were nice subtle. They didn't like throw it in your face. They were nice small things and made sense within the story. So I really like that. Then you got Void Knight or Void King, blast the other Rangers for breaking into their base. And you got Amelia who attacks him, trying to stop him. And that's when it's revealed. She ends up having more flashbacks, and it's revealed that Tarek and Centaur are of course, her parents. This was pretty much the big, debate going on between the fan base. In a way, yeah, you could say it was a bit predictable. But at the same time, I like how it played out. It was nicely, subtly done in the background, slowly building up to the finale here, and we get to see small little tidbits again, using the vision aspect to fill in little holes here and there, not giving us a huge backstory, but enough that we can get the gist. In where it's revealed that Centaur and Tarek arrived on Earth, say 20 or so years ago, as a scavenging mission for Rafcon. They are, of course, captured by Area 62 and pretty much imprisoned there. And then there was an explosion, of course, that we saw at the beginning of the episode through Pop's vision, and they end up asking him to take Amelia, and he is hesitant at first, of course, but eventually agrees and takes him. However, once he escapes, the prison room where they're in collapses, and Centaur is knocked pretty much gets a concussion and is knocked to the ground. And this is revealed as to why she wants revenge, as she wants revenge because she believes that in the explosion, Pop and Amelia didn't escape the facility in time, and due to that, she believes Amelia is dead, and pretty much she wants revenge on the humans for the death of her daughter. I really like that. It's something new, something different. I don't think we've ever seen like revenge for, the loss of a loved one, besides like, actual villains and aliens already having like a vendetta or whatever. So I really like that. Nice subtle way to explain why she wants revenge, give nice backstory and nice stuff going on there. So we got a nice little reunion session between her and Tarek, as once he has those revelations, he returns back to his former self, and the Void King persona is gone. And they have a nice little touching reunion. However, it is slowly broken with once Solon radios them, telling them that the cocoon is about to blast, and she got Dr. Khan and Pop to safety, but the city is gridlocked. And that's pretty much the cliffhanger for the second part. Now, I thought there's another really good part of the finale, and one thing I really like about this finale is I feel like there's very high stakes, a lot of emotion, and I think that's a lot, for me, that's what makes a good finale. A lot of stakes and a lot of emotion, because you gotta have that sense of urgency, that sense of importance, along with emotional ties, and I think they really did a good job here. Plus, this is very fast-paced finale, even though it's, these 22-minute 3-part episodes. It's very much like urgent. There's like this suddenness of urgency throughout all 3 parts of this. So I really like how they did that. So, nice cliffhanger and nice sense of, stakes and emotions regarding Amelia and Tarek. Again, I think emotions are just as important as stakes in a finale, just because it gives fans something to grapple with other than just the stakes and fighting. And that's one of the things I think the finales of the past 10 years have lacked, is that the stakes and importance and all that stuff, emotions, was kind of lacking, which made them lackluster finales. And I think this one definitely upped it a lot more, and definitely gave a lot of importance regarding the story. And it also gave a good amount of story and a lot of breathing room for moments with Amelia. So really solid second part, and I really think it was another great cliffhanger ending within the finale, even though, you could binge this and it's, watch it all at once. But again, solid part 2 to the finale. So for the final part 3, which is the final part of the 3-part season finale, episode 22, the Nemesis, we pick up with the group at Dino Henge, and you got Tarek, who informs them that the cocoon isn't going to just explode, it's going to hatch with, the full force of all the Sporix beasts. So, we got the group trying to figure out, okay, what are we going to do now? We got to figure this out. And so they go back to Buzz Blaster, where the cocoon is, and, Amelia says maybe I think she can link minds to try to show the truth, but they realize that due to how much power the cocoon has, she wouldn't be able to link minds of her, and she'd pretty much be killed. So got Zayto, who thinks, okay, we gotta get rid of this thing before it hatches in the city. He thinks, okay, I'll use Dino Knight mode or Dino Knight armor to teleport it away to the desert. Interesting to know that there's a desert nearby, but that's beside the point. But, you got Tarek, who stops and saying, look, I'll use the Dino Knight armor. You're still needed. If you get killed, it's going to be trouble. You need to stay behind with the rest of the Rangers to fight Santara / the Nemesis once it hatches. So he turns into Void Knight one last time and teleports it to the desert. Now, I know there was a lot of fans that were disappointed that they didn't use the Bronze Knight or Bronze Armor from the Sentai. From what I understand, they couldn't, or something regarding rights, or they would have to repaint something. I'm not totally sure about the behind the scenes issues, but either way, I understand the disappointment, but I'd rather them use this than go to the trouble to use this one suit if it's only going to be used for this one 20-second scene. So I'm fine with the way they did it. But, they teleport out to the desert, and it's revealed that he was able to destroy it, or get it away, but it did hatch, and the Dino Knight armor / Morpher is destroyed, so Zayto can't use that, which I like that. They always do something towards the end where, a power-up is destroyed, so I really like how they used Tarek to get rid of it. But moving on, you got the Rangers who realize that it's hatched in this giant, beast kind of thing. And there are a few things. There's one thing I really like here, because you got Zayto's cool. Yeah, I really like that because it calls back to earlier back in season 1. Nice call there. So the Rangers decide, okay, we need to fight this. We need to get rid of this. So they decide to call on all their Zords. Now, this is something I really, really enjoyed, because you got the Rangers who call upon all their Zords, create all their Zord formations, and go in to fight you got Santara. So I really like this, and they actually put up a decent amount of good enough fight. One of the things I always hate in finales, or towards the finale, you got the Rangers who suit up in their Megazords, going to take on this big beast, and is destroyed within 30 seconds. For example, was in Wild Force when you had Merrick, who is going to fight alongside Animus against Master Org. He gets in his Megazord, and within 30 seconds, Animus and his Megazord are destroyed. And they build up the music. It's going to be this epic battle between the two of them and Master Org, and it's over within 30 seconds. Here, at least you get some good fight scenes. They're able to use their Megazords to get some hits in, and then the Zords start to, they didn't self-destruct, but they do go malfunction, so they have to exit the Zords. Now, Zayto decides he's going to use the Dino Knight, or Dino Master Saber that was introduced earlier in the season to take down Santara and the Nemesis. However, you got Amelia who says, hold on, I got a plan, plus, if you destroy this, you could be killed too. So she decides to formulate her own plan, where the Rangers pretty much, I guess you could say, skydive onto the Nemesis beast and distract her and take on a bunch of henchmen so Amelia could get to Santara / Void Queen. Now, I really love this. I think it was great fight scenes, a really cool battle. I think this is a very well filmed thing, and I really like how they used the Sentai footage to incorporate the Nemesis. I don't know if this is all US footage or if it's all Sentai, a good amount of Sentai footage. I'm assuming it's mostly US, but I think it's a cool way to incorporate the Nemesis, or I think it's Air Race into the finale. Cool, nice way. But back to what I was saying, you got a nice, awesome fight scene. Amelia is able to get there, but Santara doesn't believe her. That she's her daughter. She tries to tell her that, but Santara doesn't listen to her again, because Amelia tried to tell her before, but she's just not hearing it. But you got You got Amelia trying, pretty much begging, trying to tell her, but she, like I said, still ignores her and pretty much blasts all the Rangers to the ground. And Zayto finally confronts her using the Dino Master Saber and uses like all the powers of all the Zords infused with the saber to destroy the nemesis, which is really cool. I really like this. Now, one thing I wish they had done with the Zords this season, and I think they kind of did it to an extent, but I wish they had done what they did with Wild Force and made them actually sentient beings, because Zayto says goodbye to his Megazord as if they're friends and whatnot, similar to Cole. And I think it'd be really cool and more impactful if the Zords were actually sentient beings and not just mechas. So I think that'd have been a better move, but I kind of understand why they didn't, but I think it would have been a better opportunity and a nice more callback to Wild Force. But he uses that and destroys the nemesis, but inadvertently gets killed himself. So I really like that. Nice little move there. And I gotta say, Zayto willing to put his own life on the line to stop Santara / Void Queen, it definitely puts him in like my top 10 favorite Rangers. Like when you have a Ranger is willing to sacrifice his own life to save the planet, you get my automatic respect. So Zayto definitely is like probably top 10 Ranger for me just due to that alone. But, you know, you got the nemesis beast or whatever you want to call it destroyed. Santara rises back on the ground angry. She calls, of course, Tarek a traitor again and gonna use the rest of whatever sporks energy she has left to destroy everybody. However, Amelia comes back. She had fallen nearby and shows her, links minds of Santara and shows her the truth, shows her past with Santara, everything. We get a nice recap of it all. Her background reveals everything there, which causes Santara to use the Sporks energy to instead destroy the Nemesis, and she's converted back to her human self. A nice moment there, and you get a nice reunion between her, Amelia, and Tarek. One thing I will say is a nice touching finale, but the emotions in a way felt more important to Amelia than the rest of the team. Now you do get a bit of an emotional moment because you got the Morphin Masters to return, because due to how Santara destroyed the Nemesis, the Sporks beasts are pretty much, you know, lost their power. So the Morphin Masters come to gather them, similar to what they did with Lord Zed earlier in the season, and take them to be secured. And the Rangers ask about Zayto, but they tell him, you know, we're not bringing back Zayto. You know, we know you cared much for him, but he'll be always with you. You know, kind of giving that kind of speech that you get from kind of, I know it's kind of generic, the whole thing, but I kind of like what they did. And they gave Ion his necklace, which is a cool little touch there. But it was definitely an emotional impact for all of them, but I think the emotional impact felt a little bit more heavy on Amelia, just due to the fact that they had all that built up. But I will admit they did have some good emotional moments with Zayto. Just think that they were a little bit overshadowed by Amelia. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think they could have balanced it out a little bit better. But then you got the group here teleports away after the big battle, and we kind of get an epilogue. You got the Rangers back at, or for the most part, you got Ollie and Amelia and Pop back at Area 62. They're helping the Rafconians move in there, and it's revealed that Santara's pregnant, and Amelia's going to have a sister. Get some banter going back and forth there. But then it's revealed that they have to be somewhere, and it's revealed that, you know, you got Izzy's graduation. She broke a world record, stuff like that. You know, you got Ion, who's created his little cafe. Nice touch there to his, you know, history of loving food and whatnot. So nice stuff there. You got Javi getting introduced to this guy who's a fan of his. Really cool thing there. So I really like how they wrapped up everybody's story here. And you do get a little thing. I actually missed it the first time. After watching it a few times, I did notice that they did show like this. I guess like Slifer and Mucus started up this carnival since they both pretty much survived. I'm curious to see if they'll ever come back to play in Cosmic Fury. I kind of doubt it. It would be cool, but I kind of doubt it. But you got them. So then you got the group called back to the Dino Henge by Solon, and it's revealed that there's a strong energy signal, and they arrive, and it's this new Ranger, and it's revealed to be Zayto, and he's this new like blend between a white / red Ranger, and he arrives on Earth and tells them that the Morphin Masters revived him because Zed escaped and they need to go after him. And that's their new mission. And pretty much they have to leave right away. And they morph up and head out. So, nice. I think this is a solid finale. I feel like I kind of rushed through some things. But there was a lot of good stuff within the finale. Nice little callbacks. Nice action scenes. Great choreography. I really like how the storylines finished out. And I feel like if we weren't getting Cosmic Fury, the story arcs and storylines were wrapped up in a way where, okay, it was decent enough, and we know that they'd still have the stuff to do, and they're still going on adventures, whatnot. So even if it wasn't going to get Cosmic Fury, I think they wrapped it up in a good way. So that's pretty much where we end. And like I said, we got Zayto as this new White Ranger, and I feel like they're kind of paying homage to MMPR Season 2, because the way Zayto returned in a way kind of reminded me as how Tommy returned as the White Ranger. I like that if they were paying homage. I will say the White Dino Fury Ranger suit kind of felt a little cheap and put together last minute. I give props to them for what they did, but it does kind of look a little cheap and feels like they could have done more on it. I don't know if they didn't have a whole lot of time to create the white suit. If that's the case, then I kind of give them a pass. But if they knew they were gonna make this white suit, I feel like they should have kind of worked on it ahead of time. I know they had to film with the regular Red Ranger suit up until now, but I feel like they probably could have made something a little bit better off. But given that it's only the last few minutes of the episode, I kind of give it a pass. Plus, I highly doubt they're going to use the White Ranger suit in Cosmic Fury. I think it was just used for this moment. I mean, I could be wrong. We could see the White Ranger suit being used in Cosmic Fury. I just don't see it. But I think like I said, they did do a good job wrapping up everything. I like how we got some good fight scenes. Overall, again, I thought this was another solid episode. Great stakes, very good emotion, very fast-paced, good-going episode. And if I had to give this overall 3-part finale a grade, I'd give it a 5 out of 5. I know in the beginning I said I had some issues with the Rathconians arriving in part 1, and there was some dialogue that was clunky. I want to hear in part 3. Maybe it's just because it came off a little cheesy regarding Amelia trying to tell Centaur that she's her daughter. But it did feel a little cringy and cheesy, and there was some cringy dialogue in part 1. But it was so good and great action, great story that I'm going to give the dialogue a pass. I think it was a solid finale. I definitely could see this going in my top 10 finales. I definitely enjoyed it. But let me know your thoughts, opinions. What was your favorite part? What did you like about the finale? What do you wish they would have done better? What didn't you like? Give me all that good stuff in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, that's our review of the Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 3-part finale. As always, if you like this video, to get a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon. There's more Power Rangers content from me moving forward. And go for me on Instagram, Twitter, which are linked in the back section of my YouTube channel. As always, I'm Vision Hero Boy Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.